Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Trisbrina Show. Today, we've got a juicy mini workshop for you. We're going to be talking about not moving meditations today, the art of Qigong, as we so love. We're going to talk about sitting on your booty and how do you boost your immune system with sitting meditations, because that's not typically something people think is possible. They think of relieving stress, calming the mind, and some of the psychological components of a sitting meditation. But the reality is, and the research shows, that you absolutely can boost your immune system with the right sitting meditations. And we've got a couple of tips for you today, so mini workshop stuff. But before we get into that, somebody has a little story for you.
Yeah, I just thought it would be fun to share what I woke up to this morning.
Oh boy.
So, usually I actually set my alarm to go off twice. And every time I get 9 minutes. So I set it to go off and I get 9 minutes and I do gratitude affirmations. And then I hit it again and I just try to connect to breath. And then I get up and I start the dog duties, right? Take the dog outside, feed the dogs, comb the dog's ears, clean the dog's eyes, blah, blah, blah.
It's a lot of to-dos you got there.
And yeah, what are you doing?
I'm sleeping it off still.
He might be in the sitting position in bed.
I am sitting.
He
I'm
may
boosting
not
my
be
immune
walking
system.
around yet.
That's what I'm doing.
So there was this mystery. So I had to go into the garage to get some bottles of water. And I opened the door to the garage and I'm like, what the heck? There's this miniature stream moving. I open the door and it's like over here and it's just like water. Doesn't smell like water. Like, what the heck is that?
I'm still in the bedroom. I don't know about any of this.
Yeah, a little innocent here. We'll see. And then I'm like, well, where does that stream begin? From a little wine refrigerator that the door is open.
Huh.
Okay, so I'm thinking,
Curious.
oh man, someone left the door open to the little wine refrigerator.
Someone.
And it defrosted. That's what I'm thinking. And it caused this slight river of water.
That could happen.
And then I noticed in the middle of the garage floor, just all alone.
Lonesome. What? Pull it back. Pull it on back. What is that?
You show.
It's a mushroom.
What does that look like? Tell us in the chat. What is this?
I think I gave it away.
If that was sitting in the middle of your garage floor, what would you think? What would you conclude? What would the mystery be? What would your next step be?
I'm thinking 2006. Good vintage.
So it isn't shaped like a wine cork, right? Wine corks are
Cylindrical. It's not a wine cork.
It's not a wine cork.
Similar.
I was like,
got a head on it, Barbara.
It's a champagne cork. Mm-hmm. And then I sniffed.
As you do.
And it did smell like champagne mixed with gardening tools and oil in a hot garage. Definitely, that was the flavor, the fragrance. So I'm like, okay, where is the bottle? Where is the bottle of broken glass?
Were you thinking like, oh, you thought it was a broken bottle? You didn't think like I was out there in the middle of the night being crazy.
Did I think that? No. So he's asking, did I think he sat in the middle of the garage floor like a toddler popping champagne and drinking it by yourself? Nope, didn't occur to me.
Because I wasn't.
So the wine refrigerator, that the door had been cracked and I thought it had defrosted. I'm like, that's where the champagne must be. And there's these little wire racks. It's small. It was actually a wedding gift from someone in your family.
It's a very helpful.
And the racks were close, and they weren't supposed to be for wine.
You got it, Paul.
So I had shoved a champagne. I had shoved a champagne bottle in there, and there it was, sitting on its side, all innocent. What did it look like? So it was just sitting there.
All the other bottles were right next to it, and they were all, and the champagne was just like.
So it had gotten so hot this champagne has lost its cool. It had pressure, anxiety, it had built up steam, and it just popped that cork off.
It sure did.
And then spewed champagne all over the garage. Now, the reason that it was able to do that is I had taken the cage off a few weeks ago.
We had been thinking.
The foil and the wire, and we were like, let's have some champagne.
You know what
like,
happens?
You know what?
It's
late. It's fine. The cork is still in there, and we had put it. And it would have been fine if someone hadn't left the door open, causing this environment of stress, and the poor little champagne lost its cool and popped.
Somebody that left the little door open.
But what's funny is the river of champagne led, a river has to go somewhere. Guess where it went? Well, Tristan had been to the gym, and he can't bring his gym bag in the house because of what's going on, and it was unzipped, and all the champagne went in his gym bag.
My whole gym bag was filled with friggin' champagne. My workout gloves, my earbuds, all the things.
Your shirts.
My shirt, my extra training, all of it was just saturated in champagne. So, be careful, my friends, to close the door, or you might lose your cool and go pop. Which
and
leads
spew
us.
all over the place.
Do not spew. I thought, after she shared this with me this morning, and I was like, I didn't do it, I shut the door. Whatever. I'm not going to get out of it. Okay.
No, you're not getting out of it.
I didn't
close
close
I
it.
proof.
You have proof? What, you got a camera out there?
Yes.
No, you do.
No, I have a bottle of white wine with a cork that was replaced in there.
That would have been me.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have a little bit of wine at the end of the day sometimes. I like to mix mine with bubbly water and just have a little wine. It's just lovely. But whatever. I screwed up. But I'm like, well, this is a really great analogy for what happens when people lose their cool and they get too hot in the head and all that stress builds up. We pop. We blow circuits in the body. We vomit, on people. We lose our cool, and it's not cool to lose your cool. So how do we deal with this? How do we bleed off that level of pressure so it doesn't pop?
And it's honestly, sometimes if I have not been in check, right, and really soothing myself and tapping into love and remembering that the only thing that matters is being happy, I can't believe how mad I can get over something. Right. Or how looping I can get, or how protective I can get, or how defensive I can get. And that's what that champagne was doing. It was just like...
It was agitated.
Do you know how agitated that champagne had to be to push out? I mean, look at the end of that. It's
got to be a lot of pressure.
It had to be a lot of pressure.
Well, human beings have so much pressure that build up, as we all know. And if we don't have healthy ways to bleed off that pressure, we too are going to blow a gasket, literally. So this is a perfect bridge to why meditate, why de-stress, why release. It's such an important part, I think, of any personal growth, is that you have healthy ways. I mean, that's why we work out every day. If we didn't work out, we'd have so much internal pressure that would build up.
I sure would.
Right? We would be popping champagne, just to deal with it all the time. So we know that meditation deals with stress, but what some folks don't know, and I've got some really great studies and things over here that I'm going to refer to, but one of the things about cortisol, which is the stress hormone, which is actually not a bad thing. It helps to regulate inflammation in the body, but like with anything, too much is then going to be having a negative effect. And so cortisol, not only does it cause you to store belly fat, but it compromises your immune system. It puts you into a heightened reactive state in the body, in the pH, in the blood, and it compromises your immune cells. So we know that we need to be managing the stress and the cortisol. So that's one thing that's super powerful about meditation. And the other thing, talking about antibodies, meditation actually helps to slow down things that are affecting or attacking your own immune cells in your body, which you need to have super strong. And then we've got an interesting immune-linked brain thing that we want to talk about today. Plus, we want to give you some techniques to really boost the immune system through meditation.
I mean, haven't you ever felt like, I think it often happens with people that we love more than strangers, but someone says something, why do bark back? Why is it like, meh? Where you would never really say that to a stranger. And I think those are little symptoms that we're starting to lose that center. We're starting to lose that heart. We're starting to lose that place of health and starting to produce more cortisol, right? It's those little things. Because I used to think, well, you know, I'm like the happiest person ever, and I actually still do think that. But in those moments, like, how come when Tristan says something to me and I've been super, super busy, and I'm like, you do it. Why do I say it like that? It's because I'm putting myself under pressure. I'm not breathing it out.
Yeah. We're always our best selves, aren't we? When we're in flow, when we use the term aligned a lot around here, that you're lined up to that energetic flow, that you're just in the grace of pure energy. And so if I could just take a moment to read a couple of things that I was researching today, I think it will inspire you to meditate, if you're new to meditation, to give it a go, and also to realize how effective it is. It might help you to be more consistent. I'm always looking for things that motivate me to stay on track. So this is super helpful. Cortisol. So let's just reflect on that for a moment. It's, as I mentioned, ordinarily an anti-inflammatory. It helps protect the immune response from getting out of control. However, when you have elevated levels of that stress hormone, it leads to compromising the immune system. But the good news is, and I thought this was cool, in 2013 I found a study from the University of California, Davis. They said researchers found that meditation cuts cortisol levels by more than half. So if you're spiking in stress and you want to drop that cortisol level down fast, meditation. Half. Like, that's a big deal, right? Like the right meditation. I'm going to teach you something today, an element of brain breathing. So that is coming in a moment. This one I like a lot, how it supercharges the body with extra antibodies, okay, and T cells. So just real quick, a reminder, T cells and antibodies. The T cells, well, let's see, serving as scouts. These are the antibodies. They serve as scouts for your immune system. So what that means, they're also known as immunoglobulins. Try saying that fast.
Immunoglobulins.
Immunoglobulins. Their job is to go through and find the invaders, the germs, the viruses, and the bacteria. And what they do is they mark them. They like put a tag on them that lets the other guys, the killer cells, come in and go, okay, get that guy, take him out. Right? So that's your T cells and your antibodies. So they're working in conjunction to help protect you against those invaders. And there was an 8-week study in UCLA. And this one was for folks who had HIV. There were 50 men who were positive with HIV. They did 30 to 45 minutes of mindfulness meditation per day. And it stopped the decline. So if you probably don't know, the HIV virus attacks immune cells and kills them. Well, this prevented that from happening.
So amazing.
Isn't that incredible? So your immune system and your immune cells are actually protected so they can do their job. It's like that wall that is put around the castle so that the fighters can go and regroup and they can't be hurt, right? So that was super cool. It says, okay, one more for you. I just love research. I just think it's so important. This is a meditation study.
Yeah, because we never are saying, believe what we're saying based on faith. Hear the studies behind it and then have faith in that.
There's so many on PubMed. I mean, I'm going to continue to dig into this because this is exciting to me. This one has to do with also immune cells and how they're bolstered. This was a study, if you've ever heard of TM meditation, this was a group of 19 people who were doing transcendental, or what was called the City TM technique. The results indicated that the TM group had higher values than a control group, people who weren't doing the meditation technique, that higher levels of lymphocytes. So lymphocytes are your white blood cells. Those are the killer T's and the natural killer T cells. So the conclusion of that study, and that is, I think that one's PubMed, the technique of meditation seemed to have a significant effect on immune cells, manifesting in different circulating levels of lymphocytes, a significant effect from the TM meditation on the neuroendocrine axis. It's getting a little gobbledygook here, but ultimately the immune system was bolstered. Okay, so I love it. In meditation, that affects your neurological, your cellular, and your energetic body is super rad.
Sometimes I see it like this. It's just me. I'm not PubMed. Meditation gives the brain a break, gives the body a break.
That's right.
It stops spinning, it stops working, it stops looping, it stops identifying, it starts pointing at the evidence and allows natural health to step in front of it. Sort of like intermittent fasting. You know, one of the premises behind intermittent fasting, which means for me, can you just wait 12 hours between dinner and breakfast so that not only does your body digest food, but then the body can have a break from digesting food and say, hey, what's broken? Let me fix it. So to me, meditation says, hey, let me just chill out and let the grace of what I am, let the brilliance of the body start healing itself. Let the body's natural genius take over. And I think sometimes we step in front of that so much. We step in front of that because that's how we approach skincare, right? Is what can we do to our faces? What can we do to our skin that lets the body come and say, well, let me naturally exfoliate. Let me build more collagen. And people are always saying, what are you guys doing? Your skin looks good. You're aging really well. And I'm like, I'm doing everything I can to allow what my body can do that no product could ever do for me. And I feel that way about meditation, that meditation for me is allowing the genius of the body. It's so complex to do its thing, and there's no way I could ever understand all of that, rather than me getting in there and looping and mind chatter and trying to figure it out and give it a name and point my finger at it. That's not really very helpful.
I've always seen the results of meditation, and they're enough for me to be motivated to practice. Being in our 50s, having strong immune systems, aging gracefully, feeling energetic, feeling joy and love. A lot of those things, those are in direct relationship to our practices. People always are asking us, what do you guys do to look healthy? And we get a lot of comments about that. We get the joke about being Ken and Barbie and that we're reverse aging and things like that. And we'll take it all day long. It's fine. We're happy. That's great. We want to age gracefully, but we want to be super healthy and vibrant and happy. And so we are saying our practices, the ones that we're implementing, the ones that we're teaching, we're living proof that they're working, but we also want the science and the research behind it.
Yeah.
And when we were kids, we were just doing it because it was our calling, it was our spiritual path.
Yeah.
But now all these years later, we're like looking, going, this is really good stuff. I'm glad we started this when we were kids.
Yeah.
And so that's why we want to continue to research this stuff, but also teach good practices, because at the end of the day, it's the results we're after. I know a lot of people who are incredibly intelligent, very scholastic, and they can tell you a lot more than I can, but they actually don't practice as much as we do.
Because sometimes that type of personality gets more into the facts and the phrases and the words and the research than actually dropping into what it's all about.
I have noticed that because I started meditating early on in life, that my body's been very resilient. Now, there have been times that there have been energetic disruptions that have caused a lot of pain in my body. And so that's why the Qigong for us is incredibly important, and it's a beautiful moving meditation. But sitting meditations are equally as powerful. We find that your sitting meditations will be richer and deeper and faster if you move first. Qigong is a perfect compatible technique to be doing for a sitting meditation. But let's say today, we're not going to dive into all the movement stuff. We're just going to do a sitting meditation. The first thing always is to have a long spine, because that keeps the information highway between the brain and the body more open. Think of 3 B's. We've talked about them before. You want your brain and your body to connect through your breath. So breath is a critical component in boosting the immune system on many levels. it definitely is going to reduce that cortisol. It's going to move the brain state and body state from the stress state, the sympathetic nervous system reacting, into that digest, rest, ease, and flow, which is the parasympathetic. So you want to be doing deep, relaxed belly breaths. But today, we're going to talk a little bit about these two very important nerves, and we have some string to show you how it works. We've talked about the vagus nerve before, I believe. That from your brain, this is the longest nerve in your body that runs all the way down through your diaphragm muscle and the solar plex area. So when you are doing correct diaphragmatic breath, where the tummy is going up and down, and I think you all know how to do that, so I would just, enjoy that right now as we're speaking. These nerves, they run bilaterally down through the body. They are being gently massaged because they go right through the middle of the diaphragm as it's moving gently. Oh, and there are qualities to the breath that will help this. Slow breaths. Slow your breaths down. Place your hand on your solar plexus. Just feel it move a little.
Let me stand up.
So not down here, not the deep diaphragmatic for right now, more up in here, just, and then release. So that in and out and kind of up and down is toning and massaging.
Am I getting on your nerves?
Hey, you're on my nerves. That's right. Exactly. That's when someone's tugging on your nerves.
That's what that is. Hey, you're getting on my nerves.
Hey, get off my nerves, man. That gentle massaging of the breath is calming this nerve, which is sending signals to your brain, and your brain is releasing other neuropeptides and chemicals that are balancing out that cortisol, balancing out the brain waves, balancing out the chemistry of the body. That gentle movement is called vagus nerve toning. So the breath should be slow and kind of deep. So as you breathe in, and it's slow, you breathe out. It's got an even cycle. It's nice and smooth. Very calming, right? And one other quality you can add to your breath, so there's 5, I'll review them. It's long. See if you can lengthen the breaths. So as your nervous system calms and your body relaxes and your muscles relax, your rib cage will be able to expand and contract more. Your oxygen and carbon dioxide ratio will start to balance out. You'll actually be able to take more breath in, and you'll feel your whole system really get smooth. So nice long, slow, and deep breaths that are smooth and even. Okay? Now that's very physical, right? That's definitely body and breath. Now let's talk about even more for the brain. One more technique for you. We call this brain breathing, and there's a lot of depth to this, but we're going to just give you top level for today to play with. All right, gang, so brain breathing is got a lot of layers to it, and it's something that's helped me cool the jets of a stressed out, busy mind more than one night. Going to bed, head on the pillow, or sitting meditation. It's a sound that I'm creating inside the brain cranium area. It's different than what we call sound breath work. And we've taught that before. That's in different programs. Some of you have Happy Healthy Back. That sound breath work that really elicits the relaxation response and trains the brain to know that it's safe. We talked about that not long ago. With brain breathing, you're breathing out through your nose. You're listening to this gentle bleeding off sound also, but it's not through the mouth. It's actually, you can hear it in here. So I'm going to try to practice. I've never actually taught it in this way. Let's see how I can teach it. So you breathe in through your nose. I'm putting my fingers on my temples to feel and remind myself to release from here. Now you probably couldn't hear that. I'm going to bring my head close to the computer so you can hear the sound, but it's coming out through the nose. But it's not so much the feeling of the breath through the nose, it's the sound that's taking place inside, and it's a feeling of releasing and relaxing the pressure and calming the firing signals between the neurons in the brain. Because when a brain is super active or hyperactive, it's firing, it's just colliding information signals. It's too much, it's overheated, right? Just like when the fan turns on the computer, because it's got a lot of system resources hogging, and then it has to kick in. Why? It's got to cool down the chips and the components inside, or it'll short circuit, right? So your brain's the same thing. It's like a computer hard drive. It will short circuit. So we're going to cool it down. So listen. Okay.
It sounds like an exhale, but it's internal.
And the more you can go inside, and the more you can do it slow and smooth, and just listen for that releasing sound and cooling sound, you'll actually notice that your brain calms down so much that you might even feel kind of like this wave of relaxation go through your whole system. It's really beautiful. So you can do this laying in bed at night. If you've got the looping thought thing going on, always give your mind a job, right? So other than what it's thinking about or worrying about, focus on something else. So focus on the sound. Slow it on down like those other 5 qualities. Long, slow. The deep, don't worry so much about the deep. You can still breathe in deep into the belly. Smooth and even, listen for that inside. And you'll hear a resonance inside your inner temple of your brain. Okay? So there's a little bit of brain breathing for you. Notice how it makes your energy feel. Notice how it makes your system feel, because when you, especially at night, if you can go to sleep in a deep state of relaxation, do you think that's going to be good for your immune system? What's one of the other things that's super helpful for the immune? A deep, restful night's sleep.
Yep.
Gives your body a chance to recharge.
Yep.
Cool?
So much healing happens while we sleep. That's when a lot of the hormones are balancing themselves, human growth hormone, all the anti-aging goodness happens. The body has time. You know, the reason that we sleep is so the body can repair. But when we're so busy and we're taking up space, like on the computer, it can't repair in the way that it has the capacity to. So meditation, brain breathing is a form of meditation, allows your body to do what it naturally wants to do, which is take you to the perfect level of health.
And tingles are normal. I think tingles are wonderful. Hopefully your tingles are tingles that feel good.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel them in like the cathedral of the head, the tingling.
And Susan, it's not so much in the back of the mouth. It's sending the sound, and there's a vibrational tone when you're breathing. So when we're breathing out through the nasal cavity, it's causing a little resonant tone because there's a volume of air leaving out through the nose, okay? And that volume is also, as it's going out, creating a little bit of a friction sound. Now, we also use this sound and focus it in to the third eye, but that's not what we're talking about right now. It's definitely not in the mouth. It's in the brain itself. It's in the cranium. Think of this as like a cave, and you're going inside your cave, and you're listening and feeling, literally attach the sound to the brain. Remember we talked about, like, if you have pain in a muscle or in a shoulder area, wherever, and you were connecting the brain to that area, and you were going, and you were moving it, and you were turning off the guarding, protecting mechanism. Well, you're trying to do the same thing in the brain. The brain is trying to protect, and it's going crazy, 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 trying to focus and deal with stress. And you're just saying, let it go, let it go, let all those feelings flow. And the brain just goes, it's like our little dog Winston.
Yeah.
He lays on the pillow behind Sabrina at night, and we both do this to him on purpose. What do? And guess what? You hear a little sound.
He does it.
It entrains his brain and his body to release, and that sound is entraining your brain to calm down. It's a beautiful technique. Give it a go. I think you're going to love it. And give us feedback as we go through these different trainings. We've had some requests over the years to do a deep dive mastery into meditation. That's kind of showing up for us right now.
Yeah, we both just have a big desire to share meditation mastery. It's been the key part of our lives. It's how we met.
Yeah, it's true.
It's how we met way back when we
Way
were
back.
20 years old. And to, based on the art of Mushin, but really mastery with everything that we've learned since that program came out, and how to share it with others, how to share it with people that you love, as well as with yourself, and how to add other elements into it that have become such an important part of our lives.
It's our lifeline.
Mm-hmm.
Without meditation, I think we're lost. And the moving meditations have made such a difference. That's why we love Qigong and very grounding. But the sitting meditations are incredibly powerful, right? Because you don't have to focus on learning and doing these other techniques. You can just sit, you go inside more, which is actually called Neigong. It means inner skill. Anyway, these are things that we'll unpack in our meditation mastery when it's ready. Susan, you are breathing out, and I'm glad you're asking questions, and we're here for you. So definitely release the sound, let it come out through the nasal cavity, but attach it to the brain going, calm. Think of little Winston going, and your brain's going to love you for this.
Yeah.
Awesome. So
one of the reasons that I love sitting meditation, and we say sitting meditation, but it really just is almost encompasses everything that isn't moving meditation, is at times in my life struggling with different types of anxiety. It's from the moment I lay down until I'm out of bed, which hopefully can be 8 hours. Anytime that I wake up, roll over, there's always a way, without getting up and moving and activating the body, that I can tap back into my immune system, that I can tap back into my connection to source, that I have all these tools and modalities and ways to calm down different areas of my body. Because 8 hours out of the 24 hours, that's a third of the time that the body is resting. So I think meditation is so good for those times as well.
So many things. Yeah, we've done a lot of practice, over 20,000 hours each, way more at this point, of sitting meditation. We don't miss a day of practicing. It is definitely a big component to our vitality, to our health, and to obviously the immune system. But we'll bring to you...
And our joy.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I sat this morning with our students in the Life Force Mastery Dojo, and we did a short meditation after moving Qigong, and this smile just lit up on my face. But I entered into that timeless moment, and there's a term you've probably obviously heard, mindfulness. Mindfulness is a state of meditation that you slip into where all of your faculties, it's like, I call it a data door. Your door opens up really wide. There was a fish, because I was sitting by a little water place. I heard him, either a fish or a frog, plopped behind me. Then there were birds flying and chirping. There was little dewdrops coming down from the tree, tapping on my skin. There was a breeze. There was a leaf blower guy far away. I could hear the cars, like all of this sensory awareness. And then this inner flow, this inner connection to the divine, and this smile just beaming. That, to me, nothing can trump that. And I remember saying at the end,
it's being totally alive.
There's no drug, there's no drink, there's no person, there's no nothing that can compare to this connection. That's the real richness right there. So I say, meditate your booty off. Or on. Okay, we going to say goodbye?
Yep. Thanks for showing up, playing with us, whether you're watching this live or on a replay. And use meditation so you don't lose your cool, pop your cork, and spew out all over your friends and family.
No spewing. We're dancing it out. Bye, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Thanks for being here. We're synchronized. Hey, let's smile for the camera.
Okay.
Yay! That's for
That's
the
our
still
screenshot.
shot. Love you. Bye.